Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Still in Canada. And we finished recently a very large rum run, our butter rum. And the one thing that I wanted to do with that is to go back and get into the toasting and inserting the staves and doing an aging on the rum. And we'll be doing it in these glass jars. Now, these are ideal for what I want to do. It's about the right amount. I don't want to do too much. I just want to check to see what flavors I can get and how I can improve the rum. Our rum really does. A rum really does benefit from having some aging done to it. Now, there's a bevy of materials you can use: a French oak, American white oak, maple, cherry, apple. There's a lot of wood you can use. Essentially, if the wood's not poisonous, and do research if you do plan on trying something different. If the wood's not poisonous, it can probably be used. Whether or not you want to, I don't know. I do some research on that. I'm not going to be too adventurous. I'm basically going after the American white oak. And we have a piece of it here. I do have quite a bit of it around. And if we look at it, the one thing you want to notice is the way the grain is going. So when you go to cut your stave, you don't cut it off the end straight down, because then you end up with a lot of short grain, and that imparts the wrong flavors that you're looking for. So you want to be able to cut on the long grain. So figure out what your length is, roughly what you want, slice it down, and then just slice off your staves. And that'll give you your long grain. Also, there's so many different opinions on what to do with this. Once you have a nice long grain, I take it and I sand all four sides, and I sand the two ends as well. And I'll knock off the edges. So just give me a bit of a rounding. How much of a difference that's going to make? Probably none. We'll see. Once you have this, then you have some choices to make: toasting or charring, so essentially burning. I'm going to go for toasted, because the last time I tried this, I did a little bit too much in the charring, and I got really, and I also put too much wood chips into the vodka, so I got just a nasty wood flavor. That's all I got, and I couldn't get past that wood flavor. So we're into this again. We're going to try it again, and this is all experimental, and this is what it's all about. So we have our wood chips, roughly the size you want, and you can make them smaller if you want. You can't make them any longer once you've cut them. So that's about the size I'm looking for. Now we're going to make an aluminum foil basket for them. And I lay them out so they're all nice and flat, and I make sure I only have the one layer here and the one layer here. So I fold up the ends and leave them outside of where the wood is. That way when I throw it into the oven, then it'll be the same for both sides, and it's a nice thin wall there. Now, once again, it depends on time and temperature for the flavor profile you're looking for. If you look for flavor profile of the staves, then there's a nice chart online. If I can insert it in here, I will, but if not, then look it up. It shows you what temperature will give you what type of flavor. So in the lower end, you're looking at like a raw wood flavor. As you climb up, you get into an almond, the vanillas, the spices. And roughly what I figure is I'm going to be operating the oven at 400 degrees for about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, in that range. And I'll turn it over halfway through so that we get there. I'm also going to perforate this package, and then the air can get into there, and we should have some wood smells. Is this going to smell a bit in the house? Yeah, it will. But you know what? I love campfires. My wife loves campfires. So I think we're good on that note, hopefully. So I'm going to put these into a package, and then we'll get them in the oven. So I'm just going to set these over a little bit. And nice thing about these, the jars, this is actually a blackboard, a little blackboard strip. So I can take a piece of chalk and just write right onto here. what I want to do with them. And I can wash that off and reuse it anytime I want. I know roughly my length. I'm going to double that. So I need to fold over. Shiny side in. I'm going to put my wood over here. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap, if I can, between each one. That way I have it nicely spaced out. And I'll just fold this over. And I'll seam it here, just so it won't bend any further. And I can turn this. Now I find the two ends and just start doing some folding. And then the same on both these ends. And I won't use a pan. These are going to go right on the rack. That way the heat can get underneath them as well. And just make sure you put them lengthwise across the rack. That way you won't mess up these. Okay. Bring that up just on the ends, and that's good. Now I have to throw some holes into these, and then they'll be all ready to go. So once again, it's a personal. Find the chart online if you can, toasting chart, and for me, I'm looking for a bit of a spice and a bit of an almond. We just finished a large batch of rum, and that's what I want to flavor this time. So I'm looking for some of the oak, yolkiness, the spiciness, and definitely some vanilla in there. So I get to toast these about 400 degrees and between 2 and 3 hours, probably closer to the 3. At 1.5 hours, I'll give them a flip. My oven's already preheated. It's ready to go. So I'll get some holes in these, get them in the oven, and we'll have a look at that. Okay, so the oak staves were in the oven for about 3 hours, maybe just a touch more, at 400 degrees. Now once again, that's where I want it, looking for a certain flavor. And I just unwrapped this one. I had a quick peek already. And there they are. And you see the little holes I put in here. But these look pretty darn good. So that's a nice even toast all the way around. The last time I tried this, I toasted them. I don't think I got them quite this color, and I don't think I had them in the oven long enough. I'm pretty sure I didn't. And then I came in with a blowtorch and charred them. I don't think I'm going to char them this time, or at least not yet. I'm going to try one out just as it is, and then I'm going to see what it does in the rum. If I need to, then I'll come back and char a couple more, or come back and just char some, just to give it a try. But these actually, some people I've heard complain about the smell in the house, but it really did smell good. I really like the smell of the wood as it was in there. So, and there we go again. There's a nice even, it's a nice even toast all the way around. I like that. That looks great. I can't wait to give these a try. So I'm gonna get some of the rum together, and then we'll throw one of these in. Now I haven't blended the rum yet. You see it all here separated out. I started with numbers for the first run, letters for the second run, and then combination of letters and numbers for the third run. And I still have to go through them. They've been airing, but I do want to get one into the wood, so I'm going to choose bottle G, which is rather big, So I'm going to put some of that in and then throw a stave in there. So I poured some of the rum, and this is from the hearts. This is definitely pulled right from the hearts, and that was from the second run. So it, I felt, was probably the most amicable to do. And now I just have to choose which one of these I want to use. So really kind of leaning towards this guy. I like the color. Well, they're all very similar, but I think we'll give this one a go. And I'm just going to leave one in there. I don't think I'm going to, that was a mistake I did before, is I put too much in. So I'm not going to do that again. And the neat thing about these bottles is the blackboard. There we go. And of course I'll put more information in my book just so I have all the dates and everything. But yeah, we'll let that go and give that a whirl and see what I get later. I think there'll be a few samples out of this as it's going.